All right. First layer, what we did is we put first wash for the door and the trim, window trim. So I used Cerulean Blue, Naples Yellow, raw umber, bit of raw umber, and I didn't use white, not yet. For the curtain, I used alizarin crimson and a bit of Naples Yellow with raw umber and white. So now we're going to do the second layer. So the first layer was just to cover the door as a wash, cover the canvas. I'm going to take again Naples Yellow, put some Cerulean Blue in it, and that will give us a nice aqua green color. We can just adjust the amount of blue and green. So if you want it more blue, we can just put more cerulean blue in it. And if we want it more green, then more of the Naples Yellow. So I'm going to keep it kind of more bluish. It's a beautiful color, aqua color. Okay. Now I would put a tiny bit of raw umber in there. That will tone it down. And if you don't want to tone it down and you want it to be bright, don't use raw umber. But the only reason I'm putting raw umber because most of this part is in the shadow right here. So the brightness of the door should be a little bit muted because of the shadow. So I'm going to take another layer now, and then you can see with the second layer, I'm getting a nicer, more richer, deeper color. And eventually I'll put some texture using when the paint is dry, using a glaze to put a bit of texture on this door to make it look a little bit weathered and not too clean and new. This is kind of a cabane or cottage or a little beach house. Okay, now, meanwhile, this is, I'll work on the window frame while this is drying, and then we'll come back to it and give it a nice texture. Okay. Now, I'm going to take tiny bit of, actually more than a tiny bit, raw umber, mix my raw umber with some of the green. Put some here, down here. I wouldn't put any on this side. On this side here, we'll put the other way. We'll put the color of the door, and then I'm going to take white, put white in it. Wipe my brush so I get a really nice line, clean. Another one on this side here, bottom. Again, same. Lower level, panel. I'm not worried about the lines right now. They don't have to be straight, because what I'm going to be doing in a minute, I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to be doing. So that's you can see that the lines are not straight, and it's okay. I'm going to take color, same color again. I'll put a bit of yellow in it. Naples yellow, tiny bit. And it's a little bit lighter than the original one. I'm going to come here, give this part it's like a dry brush. It's a glaze. And that's why I was saying it doesn't matter if your lines are not straight. Now I've done this with the highlight color. I'm going to use the same with more of a darker, and I'm going to mix my raw umber, make it more like a glaze with some of the same colors I was using. I didn't clean my brush, just add the raw umber to it. Put a bit of water in there, wipe your brush, and I'm going to put some here. On this side. Let's clean up a bit. give this door a little bit of a weathered look. White. Now this is drying very dark right there. So what I'm going to do is add color of the door, more like a glaze over this, to take away the darks, the dark of the, I don't want to lose the dark completely. So I'm trying to glaze over it, which is not a good idea right now because it's not dry underneath completely, but it's okay. Just gonna soften this. Okay. Eventually what we're going to do is we're going to have some flowers hanging over this door, so you're going to see less and less of it, but for now it's good enough. I should put a handle too. Something's off in the with the perspective. All right, so the door has been adjusted, the lines. So what I did is I tried to find where the vanishing point is, and from this line, from the bottom of the door, this line, with my ruler, and then I just held my ruler on the left side right here, you can't see it on the camera, in one position, and just moved the ruler up slowly, and that will give me a better perspective lines for so the horizon line is right there, and the vanishing point goes all the way, and where they meet, this is the point where this ruler stays stationary, it doesn't move, and I move this part only up and down, and one part here on the left hand side is in one position. This will give me a good perspective. It should give me a good line for the perspective where the door is, or the door detail. All right, let's take, yeah, we have some of this, so I'm going to take white, put it here, wipe my brush, and put a line. Okay, it's better. It's much, much better. All right, again, some white with the color of the door, and try to put one here. And then I wipe my brush, water, clean brush, just pick up any paint and adjust the line. Good. Now the frame around this door, I'm going to keep it, I'm going to change the color and just keep it, an, you know, a brown color, let's say, or an off-white, something that's not exactly the same. Let's see if we take raw umber. Raw umber is very gray. It's cool. It's a cool color. Let's see. Burnt umber. And white. Ah, that's better. Burnt umber has is a warm color. Has more red in it. Actually, yeah, it's more on the reddish side. We don't have to do this now. We can do the wall first and then do this, but it's okay. We're just doing the, might as well. I'm going to highlight this a little bit more with white. We will adjust this color once we start working on the wall. This is on an angle, so we would see more of this side, left side of the door, and less of the right side of the door because of the wall is covering the door. Let's decide later on if we want to keep this frame or just do it as a wall. But for now, just give it, just to get rid of the yellow of the canvas.
You use burnt umber and white for the frame?
Yep, burnt umber and white.
Okay, thanks.
I'm not sure I like this color, but we don't have to decide right now. I'm sorry, I have to turn around this for a minute so I can do the frame. That's better. Mixing the color of the door again. Doesn't have to be exactly the same. I just want to highlight it a little bit more because now it's dry, completely dry, so I can see the color. And I'm going to take a little bit of raw umber and put it in it again, just tiny bit. Same color of the door before, kind of the same color because I don't think I'm going to get exactly the same. I'm not worried about that. And it's a very nice light. Put some water. Wipe my brush, especially because I always wipe my brush because I mix color with my brush. It's better. I mix the paint with the brush. So although I don't push hard when I'm mixing the paint, because I don't want it to get into all the way into the brush, but still, it's good to wipe it. You'll have more control over the amount of paint you're putting on the canvas. Okay, that's good. If you see this at the art store, get it. But that's what I use. I get these from the dollar store, and I put this at the bottom. And when I clean my brush, it will clean the brush all the way in to the ferrule. You know, like look, it's perfect. So if you see one, get one. Saves the brush. All right, it's good. Good enough for now. We will adjust the frame and the color of the frame. We'll adjust more in terms of colors once we start working on the wall. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so what I did is I took alizarin crimson, just alizarin crimson, white, and raw umber, and I made it into a very soft, light glaze color, glaze consistency. And then I just with my brush just went over the parts of the door, not the whole thing. It tones down the blue that's in there, the blue, the aqua color that we have, and it just kind of takes away a little bit from that intense green, and it connects with what we have here behind for the curtains. Also, when we start working on the walls, we're going to put some of that pink in there. Now, I mentioned before that we can put glass color. So let's try. Usually I don't use cerulean blue for window, but today it's fine. I'm just going to use a bit of cerulean blue, a little bit of white, make it into a kind of glaze. Because I find the reason I don't use cerulean blue because it's too bright. Let's see. Let me take a bit of raw umber, put it in, and tone it down. Perfect. Okay, that's better. That's, I think, better. All right. Again, it's a glaze. I'm going to glaze this part. And that will make it look like it's behind glass. So I'm not covering the curtains in the back. I'm just putting a little bit of paint over. It's like transparent paint. And then this will push the curtain back so it doesn't look like it's coming forward. Just put a bit of white in there in the same. And just kind of put a bit of light blue. You know how with windows you'll get reflection of the sky sometimes in certain areas. And let's let it dry. This is a glaze, so if I play around with this too much, then I'm going to lift it. I'm going to leave it for now. I take again a little bit of raw umber, mix it with the color of the frame, and just glaze a tiny bit of that over here and over here, just to give it a bit of depth. So it looks like the frame is casting a shadow over the glass. It's a glaze, so my paint is not heavy, it's transparent. All right, let's leave it like that. I think that's enough for this week. Next week we'll continue working. We'll start working on the door next week. On the, I'm sorry, the wall.